Have to clear my throat. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, as I do this presentation. Welcome to GRCAM Monthly Virtual Interactive Conference, Saturday, June 27th, 2026. Theme: How South Africa Became a Third World Country, Side A. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbie. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe to my YouTube page, ladies and gentlemen. After I finish my pep talk, then I would turn the show over to my panelists so that we can get their point of view about different things, because over here, I like to share um, this podcast. It's not about me just sitting up here running off at the mouth all the time. That's how come I'm trying my best to encourage those of you that's on my friends list to interact with me. You know what I'm saying? Those of you that's artists, entrepreneurs, you know, make you have 3 weeks. I would even say, look, you have the entire month to come on my this platform to promote your books, your business, your music. If you're a comedian, your jokes. If you have a small ministry, you can share a 30-minute sermon with my listeners from the global community. So I'm giving you all of that opportunity. Everybody that's on my friends list from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. So all of you all have an opportunity to do that. But, sometimes a lot of people don't seem like they want to get on camera. I'm not going to promote your business. You're going to have to do that yourself. I'm giving you free airtime and all that stuff. And like they say, closed mouths don't get fed. That's why my mouth is wide open. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm on a whole lot of different social sites, beating that drum loud and clear, staying on point, standing on Black business, and doing the best that I can to recruit brave and smart Black Americans, brave and smart African immigrants within the United States of America. It's not easy at all, but hey, somebody has to do it. And I'm just doing the best that I can. And I'd be glad when I can get out of this drought, because it's been 34 years. And like I say, that's a prison sentence, That's I didn't imagine I was gonna still be on first base. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, this is my last attempt, like I say, my film project. This is gonna be it for me. I'm gonna do the best I can to raise the funds. Whatever I'm able to earn from that film project, the proceeds, I'm gonna use that money to hire people to work for my Christian business. Big time. Everything that's written in the book, we're gonna carry out to the fullest. All right. So, if you are unable to participate in our monthly virtual interactive conference, no worries. We host this virtual interactive conference every last Saturday of each month until we are able to raise $250,000 for our film project, as well as to get my ebook on that bestsellers list. This will help put me in a better position financially, so that way I can hire Black people, African people, and others. Please listen to the replay. Leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast. Most of all, please share this audio podcast link with all of your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Because truth be told, this is all I have right now. It's just my revised book, my virtual store, this platform, and now I'm trying to turn my book into a film. Because I want the whole black world to know my story. I want to make sure that nobody, especially GRCAM members, will never have to endure this type of foolishness I had to go through. That's not cool at all. It's really it's disgraceful. But and some people say, oh man, you're complaining, blah blah blah. Doggone it, I am complaining, and hey, if it is what it is, because I want to get this thing moving to the next level. So what I want to say here on out, anybody that's on my friends list that's listening, if you're not interested in solving black issues or solving African issues, just delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. That's all I'm saying. This business ain't for you. Because I'm trying to connect with more people like Sister Renee. It's not easy to find people like her. Not at all. But I know one thing for sure. I'm not coming to Africa until we get this thing popping here in America first, specifically in Chicago. That's all. In the book I wrote that I was hoping that the business would spread to at least 25 cities within 25 states. I have to change that. 34 years, I'm still on first base because of that slave mentality among Black Americans. That's all that is. And we coming against that foolishness over here. I created this platform to recruit brave and smart, like-minded Black Americans beyond Chicago and brave and smart, like-minded African immigrants across the United States of America to work with me in getting my ebook on that bestsellers list. Like I say, so that way that will put me in a better position financially to hire people. That's why I wrote the book. I didn't write the book for it to sit on Amazon collecting dust. I didn't create the virtual store to just be online, items on there. You know what I'm saying? So, my message to African immigrants living in South Africa, please leave South Africa as soon as you can. I don't want to see none of you all being harmed or unalived by Black South Africans. It's not a good look. Please leave. They don't want you there. Just leave them alone. Africa's a big continent, I sure wanted to bring my business over there to South Africa, but I want to stand back, stand down, because I don't even got the business popping over here yet in America as it is, But I'm just saying, it's just a turnoff. They're using all of that energy against their brothers and sisters, but those white supremacist financial elites is funding them, the Zulus, and so this is how our people sell out. It's just a shame. So, I am encouraging single Black parents who reside in the United States of America. If you identify as DAS FM, which stands for Descendants of American Slaves/Freemen, then this business is for you and your immediate family members. Because after all, uh, that's my lineage as well. And so I want to help my own people before I cut and run. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do. I am encouraging all of my listeners worldwide as Black people and African people. We are failing our children as a collective because of this unchecked slave mentality. I'm going to say among Black Americans, also um, that colonized mindset among African immigrants and Native Africans. In order for me to do my job, I need for you all to help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list. So that way I can go ahead and do my job. I can't do anything if I'm not making money. Bottom line. I'm wasting money. I'm spending money for this business title. Like I say, I've been doing that um, since 2010 for 16 years. It's a straight up turn off. It really is. But just doing the best that I can. This is what I want to be remembered for, because those people that I would say my quote unquote enemies and those that's in our racial group that's off code and all that, um, whatever they say about me, they entitled to their opinion. But bottom line, I refuse to work with off code Negroes, hardened criminals, pedophiles, degenerates. And I'm not trying to say I'm better than those people. I just don't fool with those people. I want to connect with people and for us to get things done instead of sitting up here complaining about the white man, complaining about the government, doing what we can within our power to solve our issues. That's all I'm trying to. I'm trying to connect with other like-minded Black Americans like myself, like-minded um, African immigrants. That's all. All the other those that's not part of us, like I say, we'll pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. And that's real. There ain't nothing changing on that end, on my end, on that. Um, Before I go into my presentation, it was brought to my attention by Sister Renee, one of our elder brothers by the name of Michael Ray Keys became a victim of a senseless crime by teenage urban terrorists in McGee, Arkansas. On June 12th, police were called to an apartment for a wellness check. They found an elderly brother who had been severely beaten and unalive. During their investigation, the police department announced the arrest of two male juveniles. They were Black for the murder of 57-year-old Michael Ray Keys. They are likely to face charges of capital murder, aggravated robbery, and theft of property. Michael Ray Keys was a U.S. veteran. He was also a father. I believe he has one daughter. Again, my condolences is to the family because of that, senseless violence. Um, the brother, he was an entrepreneur trying to give back to the community. He opened up a storefront in his apartment, and that caught the eyes of these urban terrorists, and they decided to unalive him. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, when I come to the hood, I'm used to live in the hood and all that stuff, so I know what time it is. Uh, in GRCAM, Chicago, we're going to have armed security. We're going to have surveillance camera, and we're going to have drones, the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You just can't be playing around because you don't know when they're going to attack. They're always bugging. Those are the biggest threats to our Black youth, is those urban terrorists. And that's how come I want to bring my business to the low income black community, the nonprofit portion. The for profit portion, I can't bring that to the low income black community because I'm trying to make money. And when you're in business, that's what you're in business for, to make money. So I want to make money so I can hire people. I don't want to be begging for donations. That's not what I'm really about. But we will have that nonprofit in terms of just doing the best that we can to help our brothers and sisters that live in those high crime war zone areas, unfortunately. And I'm trying to, like I say, whole purpose of this GRCAM of Chicago is to get our youth out of the streets, put money in their pockets, so that way they can feed their families and pay their bills without, turning to, violence, because that's where all the violence is taking place, in the low income black community. That's all. Once you get to the black middle class, they don't have all of that foolishness going on over there because their finances is more intact. In the low income black community, those are financial crimes, you know. So, and then yes, they get over police and all that kind of stuff, but that's the price that our youth have to pay because of a few bad apples. um his funeral will be today, and I post the information on my Medium transcript. If interested in learning more about the situation, just go to my Medium transcript in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. The grassroots community activist movement is about building and healing Black Americans who identify as descendants of American slaves slash freedmen will heal from this slave mentality, which is Willie Lynch. African immigrants in the United States of America will heal from this colonized mindset. Both Black Americans and African immigrants who become GRCAM members will help me build and run the best Black Christian business within the United States of America, and that is GRCAM Chicago, which stands for the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. In GRCAM Chicago, both um, Black Americans and African immigrants will learn how to respect each other's culture, learn how to conduct business together, and we will replicate the business in 10 African nations once we get it popping here in Chicago. In order for us to do international trade with our brothers and sisters on the continent and vice versa. Since Black Chicagoans have rejected and overlooked my vision and plan for the past 34 years, my business will be membership based. What makes our Christian business different from, I would say, other Black business is that we want to become an economic base within the low income Black community. Secondly, we will have two types of businesses, like I say, a nonprofit business and a for profit business. Under our for profit business, that's where I'm going to make my bread and butter. Active GRCAM members will own and control our we're going to own and control our own community grocery store, community healthcare clinic, and community housing. Um, so that's important. Those are the three industries alone that will help create jobs for GRCAM members because everyone needs food, healthcare, and shelter. Our for profit business will be placed in our middle class Black community because, again, I have to make money, you know. Our nonprofit business will be place in our low-income Black community. It's my hope to encourage my brothers and sisters in the low-income Black community to strive for the middle class, because over there they have less crime, and this will be a boost for our racial group. GRCAM of Chicago will raise the bar in Black America by separating ourselves from the enemy within, which are con artists, Black boule degenerates, Democrat shields, hardened criminals, pedophiles, off code Negroes, and urban terrorists. Once we obtain a physical building, then we will hold mandatory orientations on the west side of Chicago. We're going to cover Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale, and eventually expand to the south side of Chicago and replicate the same business over there. Um, and again, this business is for Black Americans who are descendants of American slaves / freedmen. Everyone must sign um, our community pledge, pass our criminal background check, and those who are 18 and above must submit their thumbprints to be placed in our database, so that way we'll know who's doing what within the business, and to make sure that we weed out those that want to cause us harm. Because I ain't having that at all. I'm running my business the way I run my home, drama free. Um, we will have protocol put in place to weed out those who will try to undermine us. There will be consequences for con artists and the like. Um, Again, it doesn't matter how bad I want to get this business up and running. Without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, I can't do my job. Bottom line. The burden is not on me. The burden is, or the ball is in the hands of the Black grassroots and the global African family. Bottom line. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, and this platform. My film project is my last attempt to try to build something productive. I want to make a quality Black empowerment film. The proceeds from the film will help put me in a better position financially, again, so that way I can hire Black people, African people, and others. That's all I'm trying to do. Before I, and that's for credibility before I cut and run to Africa. I'm trying to build an economic base within the low income Black community. Um, so yes. Um, GRCAM Chicago. In GRCAM Chicago, there will be consequences, like I say, and zero tolerance for foolishness. Truth be told, Black Americans as a collective doesn't want a solution, because it wouldn't take no 34 years. Bottom line. This is why I'm reaching out to African immigrants and the global African family to help speed up the process. Get it popping here, then I can turn the business over to my advisory board or resource team, and I can bring it over to the African continent. Since they acting the most right now in South Africa, then my heart is leading me to go towards looking into Kenya. So if Kenyans will receive me, we will make a move there and set up a local chapter, get it popping over there, and then from Kenya we'll hit Tanzania, Uganda, and Ethiopia. Just get it popping over there in East Africa, and then make our way over to West Africa. Gotta come there last because, you know, Bottom line, because that's where my ancestors were, put in bondage, and forced on those slave ships. And yes, some of the West Africans, they didn't know any better. I'm just being real. But yeah, they sold us, my ancestors, into bondage. So, but I have to. I'm gonna ease my way over there. But anyway, the bottom line, just want to get my foot, on the continent. That's all I'm saying. Starting in East Africa, get our foot grounded over there, and then make our way over. Um, and again, I want to make sure that I give GRCAM members, that's Black Americans, an opportunity for us to bring our talents and skills over to the African continent to help improve the African economy in exchange for dual citizenship and land. That's what I'm going to be negotiating. That's what I want to be remembered for. That's all I've been trying to do, for the past 34 years. But Black America, sitting up here acting, well, specifically Black Chicagoans acting funny style with me, taking me for joke. So, and those that rejected me, I'm not none of Jesus. I'm just going to make sure that we remain strangers for life. That's all I'm saying. I ain't looking for no approval. You don't have to like me, but you will respect me. Family members that refused to work with me when I was reaching out to them, no problem. We will remain strangers for life. I don't care if we are blood. I won't acknowledge you at all. If I'm like that with my own flesh and blood, how you think I'm gonna be with strangers? This is how I just read my story so you'll know. Um, I don't have any kids because I didn't have a childhood, you know, and all the mess that I went through. I want to make sure. Well, from me and my, just from my own personal experience, this world don't deserve my seed. However, I do love my racial group, even though I understand why a lot of us act off code, but over here it's gonna get corrected in this business. In this business, we're about standards. It don't matter how long it takes, we're gonna stand on business and we're gonna focus on solving Black issues over here. We can't make white America give us reparations, but doggone it, we're gonna demand that from those politicians if they want that vote. That's all I'm saying. No reparations, no anti-Black hate crime bill, no vote. It's just that simple. You dig? Um, so our children are coming from broken homes, and through GRCAM Chicago, we will help fix those issues, but without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, again, I'm unable to do my God-given assignment. And some critics say, Emmanuel, you have failed as a leader. And I flip the script and say, I beg to differ. I haven't been given an opportunity to lead. I haven't been given the opportunity to have my advisory board intact. Ain't my fault. And doggone it, if I have to get people outside of Chicago to come to Chicago to work with me to be on my advisory board, so be it. Ain't no shame. This is how come I'm created the platform. Beating that drum loud and clear. Staying on point. Gonna keep saying this stuff until it happens. God is my witness. But those that act funny style with me, mark my words, once this business materialize, all those people gonna be begging to be a part of this business. And like I say, ain't nothing changing with me. And when I'm dead and gone, that's gonna, like I say, we're gonna have that protocol. I require people's thumbprint so that way we could keep tabs on who's doing what and make sure we hold these off code Negroes and those that want to try to sabotage us, hold them accountable. Because I don't want to associate with those type of people. Want to get in your pockets and stuff when you make money, but don't want to work with you when you're trying to get it from the mud. Over here, we're getting it from the mud. We're going to build, in other words, in layman terms, we're going to build it from the ground up. And it's legal. So that's how that is. Um let's see. So just bear with me. I'm looking around, see what else I wanted to say. Our children who reside in the black ghettos view hardened criminals as role models. How do I know? Because when I was a teenager, that's what that's what they did, you know, because those are the only people that was making money. Drug dealers and the pimps. I didn't see them as no hero or role models. I saw that as, a diversion. You know, I knew that, that stuff was like a trap, you know, and so that's why I try to, that's why I'm trying to build this business. Um, I would say our youth are lured into the fast life because of the bling they see. They think making fast money is cool. Um, that's why they into like buying name brand items like gym shoes and um, pants, different clothings, fashion stuff. Because of the name. But many of our children are reading below the national reading level, and that's not cool at all. And a lot of businesses they leave the community because of the urban war zone. It's not profitable. So, and the red lining, that's all designed to keep our youth locked up in a penal the school to prison pipeline, just to keep them locked up. And again, that's slavery in the back door because of the 13th Amendment. I'm just saying. In GRCAM, Chicago, we will work with Black families who identify as descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. We will assist them. This is the benefits of being a GRCAM member. We will assist them in raising their immediate family members, in terms of like child care and all that good stuff, so that they can advance in life. Um, we're gonna have like child care services. We're also gonna offer some type of assist, our clients with their. Sorry, I don't want to say clients. I would say either members or students. We assist them with their utility bills, based on our budget and sponsorship. So I'm just saying that those are some of the perks of being a GRCAM member. Um, the purpose we were okay. So the purpose why we host our monthly virtual interactive conference, again, is to encourage our listeners to patronize what we're trying to do. We use 3 crowdfunding sites that people can use: GoFundMe, Buy Me a Coffee, and PayPal Giving Fund. We're using those crowdfunding sites so that way everybody would know exactly where the how much money would be raised and where the money will go. Our goal is to raise $250,000. That's as low as I'm going because I want to make a quality Black empowerment film. Bottom line. Um, I want to encourage those who are seasoned filmmakers, either Black filmmakers, African filmmakers, to come to Chicago. But that's once we raise it, and interact with me right now. That's why I do these things. So you can interact with me, network with me. If you're serious about doing business with me, exchange emails. But the main thing, please read my story for yourself. If anybody disagree with the vision and plan, I don't even want to hear from you. My advice to you is just delete me off your friends list, go on about your business, because you ain't going to change my mind. Not at all. We about solving Black issues point blank. You see, ain't nothing out there is working. Give my ideas a chance. That's all I'm saying. Let's make that happen. That's what GRCAM is all about. Shoot. Uh, Once I finish my presentation, then I will turn over the podcast to my panelists. That this will be called Side B. After they have shared their perspective about the topic, then we will drop the StreamYard link in the chat room for the global, I would say for my global listeners worldwide. Come in here and speak with us in real time. See what I'm saying? Get on camera and speak with me directly. But first, let's talk about this documentary. And then after that, if you have specific questions about, what I talked about for this whole month, we can make that happen too. Um, Again, I encourage my listeners to please help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list. Again, that's going to help put me in a better position financially so that way I can hire Black people, African people, and others. Our objective is to create a bridge between the Black community and the African immigrant community. I would say in the Chicago area and the surrounding suburbs. Um, GRCAM Chicago aim to transcend art, fashion, filmmaking, and music. GRCAM Chicago goal is to help our Black youth get off the streets and out of gangs by giving them an opportunity to be in our Black empowerment films and stage plays. We will give them a stipend so that they can feed their families and pay their bills. We will also um, offer them associate's degrees and vocational training so that way they will have the skills to pay the bills. The perks of being an active GRCAM member. If you're a musician, then we will compensate you by giving you an opportunity to play your music in our film, stage plays, and at our live events, as long as you're an active GRCAM member. And that's real. So let's say, for example, now if you're on the African continent, that's why I want to come there. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna give, especially the ones that came on my podcast when I was small time. I'll give you an opportunity to, audition for roles, but you got to know your lines because that's how we're gonna pay you. I can't have people that don't know how to memorize their lines. So we got to take this stuff serious. We want to strive for excellence. You know. Um. So you will you will have an opportunity to audition for roles in our films and stage plays, and we will compensate you for your time and talent. Okay, that's what we're gonna do through the business. Once we set up chapters in 10 African nations, then you could travel with us during our African tours to meet other GRCAM members and promote your books, business, music, network with them, and vice versa. That's what this is all about, not just us being behind a computer. That's fine. But I want us to interact with each other, social interact action. Um, we will offer sports team for our youth. We will have basketball team, baseball team, and a soccer team. Talent search, Christian spoken word versus secular spoken word. Whoever can flow the best will win $500 in cash. That's what we would do. We will assist active GRCAM members and active GRCAM students with their utility bills based on our budget and sponsorship. That's what we would do. We will offer a food pantry providing monthly groceries, clothing, and social service in order for the low income Black community to thrive. We will be dedicated to promoting Black economic empowerment and improving the quality of life for Black Americans in Chicago and beyond through health, education, business, youth service, and cultural initiatives. That's what we're all about over here. Uh, Sorry, and I'm just really surprised. Again, I'm getting so much pushback, very little to no support. And yeah, I could take it to another city, but it'll be the same thing because that slave mentality is in every inner city in America. Bottom line, can't run from it. So that's why I say I'm gonna just do the best I can to get it popping here, turn the business over, and bring my business over to the African continent. And I want to work with Africans that want more out of life. Bottom line. Our monthly virtual interactive conference is meant to recruit brave and smart, like minded Black Americans beyond Chicago, brave and smart, like minded African immigrants across the United States of America. That's what this is all about. I call upon everyone on my Facebook page, my Instagram page, my TikTok page, my LinkedIn page, and my X page. I need you all to help me get my ebook on that bestsellers list, ladies and gentlemen, so I can do my job. I call upon Black millennials and Generation Z to please read my story. Quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available in two forms, either as an ebook for $9.99. That's the one I'm trying to focus on and trying to encourage you all to get. That's the cheapest one I have, you know, or buy the softcover book for $15 plus shipping and handling. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, specifically Black Chicago, then you will automatically become a GRCAM member. I call upon like minded African immigrants from across the United States of America from 10 African nations. They are as follows: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. Yes, I understand you all came here to live out your American dream, but I need your help. I am unable to reach my own people, which is, quote, Black Americans, descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. And I've been reaching out to them for the past 34 years. I'm still on first base, and that's unacceptable. All I'm asking you to do is please purchase my ebook, read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan, then work with me to get my ebook on that bestsellers list. That'll put me in a better position financially so I can hire you to help me run this thing. Um, I need you all to help me build it, and like I say, run it, manage the business. But you're gonna have to have the skills that I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? And I explain all of that in the book. Um, so let's see. Truth be told, the white supremacist financial elites only wanted white European immigrants here, nobody else. It was uh, my ancestors or our ancestors through, from the civil rights era that helped allow African immigrants, Afro Caribbeans, and other non white immigrant groups to come to this country. But I'm specifically reaching out to African immigrants at this point in time. Um, in the near future, I'll reach out to the Caribbeans and Brazil. But right now, I'm just trying to get the ball rolling. That's all. Um, Again, I call upon Black content creators and African content creators. We have a large audience to please allow me to come on your platform so that way I can promote my revised book and my film project to your listeners. This will help get me put on blast and to help get the ball rolling. Um, so that's where I'm at on that. Um, so let's see. I want to make sure that Sister Renee will be well taken care of. She's been working with me from behind the scenes for 14 years. Very, very dedicated sister. You know, as a result, I want my advisory board and or resource team to dedicate a local chapter for her in West Memphis, Arkansas. Hopefully, her family members will assist her in managing the business. I can't turn GRCAM Chicago over to my family because the majority of my family are full of Willie Lynch, and all they would do is just sell the business. They would care less about passing it down. So that's why I want to pass it down to GRCAM members, so that way that can keep that legacy going. You know what I'm saying? So now, with that being said, yes, if you want to be on this panel, please watch the documentary. Go to my Medium transcript. Like I say, it's going to be in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on that link, and that's going to be the first link that you see under Show and Prove How South Africa Became Third World. Click on that link, watch it, take good notes, and then, at 2 o'clock p.m. American Central Time, just be ready to connect with me on StreamYard. I gave everybody an opportunity to, I asked people, if you don't know how to use StreamYard, let me know, and I'm willing to teach you. A lot of people, some of them, take it for joke and stuff like that. So, you know, it is what it is. But again, if no one shows up, that's fine with me too. That's how come I'm doing this part right here. So, but all I can do is keep trying. So, and that's all I'm about doing my best. Um, uh, I'm not the. Some people say something about, oh, Emmanuel, you're depending on people. Look, I'm just trying to connect with your CAM members. That's all. Like I say, this is going to be membership based, and yes, like once I come to Africa, we're gonna focus on solving African issues. I turn the business over. I've done the best that I could. I helped Black Americans as much as I could. Gave them 34 years of my life. I'm still on first base. That's not cool, but hey, it is what it is. But I'm doing the best that I can to get this business popping so I can bring it to the African continent. So uh, if I got on a plane today and went over to Africa, I would be in the same situation on the African continent, because some expats that I talk to that's already on the continent, they tell me the majority of businesses in Africa is owned by non-Africans, and that's a doggone shame. Just a doggone shame. And so that's why I want to do this business here in America first, again, for credibility. You know, so I'm gonna play a few videos that coincide with the topic, and then you know a little later today, like I said, 2 p.m. American Central Time, we're going to start side B. But I'm just trying to go ahead and get things taken care of in advance, because I don't like to just sit around and wait. And you know, if I have listeners that's want to talk with me right now, that's cool too. I'll drop the link in the chat room. But if you're serious about coming on here, we can make that happen. So don't be scared, people. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just having a conversation. My goodness. Don't be scared. So these are the three videos I would like for us to watch. All right. Fair use ADNC, which is African Diaspora News Channel.
Sad time to be a Black South African. To the families of the freedom fighters that died for this country, that died fighting the apartheid regime, I'm sorry to let you know that your people died in vain. Your family members died in vain. It was all for nothing. You fought for imbeciles that are happy to hand over the country to white people on a silver platter. Family, how many of you are familiar with the term kwere kwere? Ama kwere kwere. I'm sure you've heard that term since the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Amakwerekwere is a derogatory South African slang term, an ethnic slur coined by the Zulus and Xhosas that is used to refer to foreign nationals, particularly Black African immigrants from other countries. I can also say that kwere kwere is the same as the N racial slur word, the same as the K racial slur word. White people never considered Black people their equal nor human. They've always viewed us as inferior, subjects, and foreigners. That's why they've called us anything and everything other than what we are. The N word and the K word is what they called us. But never in a million years have I thought that Black South Africans that look like Black people throughout Africa would classify other Africans as anything else other than what they truly are. I never thought as Black South Africans we would inherit the barbaric Boer mentality of looking down upon others that look like us. Who do you think you are, South Africans, calling Africans with such a filthy name, labeling them with such a derogatory term, and then allowing the Boers to use the very same term that dehumanizes our fellow African brothers and sisters? Disgusting. Shame on you. Check out this clip.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm an expert vetted top 1% AI consultant on Upwork. I use AI to help companies.
So we've got news for the Kwere Kweres, the undocumented foreign nationals.
Yes.
We ain't going anywhere. Now we are just going to get more aggressive. When I say aggressive, I don't mean fighting, but our marches are going to become more and more and more. We will not stand down.
Disgusting. I hate when a girl thinks she's cute because she's light-skinned. and you consider that Cretan women, your family, more than African migrants, birds. Your proximity to whiteness have made you think that you are the superior blacks in Africa, but in reality, her kind still see you as inferior, as the kafirs that you are. I'm sorry. Excuse my language, family, but they've been acting like that as of late. You're telling me that this white girl does not know where all the illegal whites are. She has no idea where to find her illegal kind. Cut the bull. The other time, one of the leaders of March and March, I think it's Pakalum Takati or Ngizwe Mchunu, that one that can't form a coherent sentence. He said, referring to that particular white woman in the video I just showed you, he said, I am happy, I'm glad that even our white people are joining in this immigration fight. We are not alone. And I said, our white people, ew. Which explains this video. Check out this clip.
Oh, Zulu Poo Poo, you've been such a good boy since we took you out of the jungle and separated you from your people, your culture, and history. Oh, you've been such a good boy. That's why you're wearing joggers with that strange headdress. Oh, I thank you for keeping the other blacks under control so I don't have to do it. Yes, that's right, other blacks. Go gather around him. I touched him. Now you touch him. You might get lucky too. Thank you, black women, for wearing your hair like mine to show that you admire me and hate yourself. I love you, Zulus.
Yeah, they're hugging the little slave boy, the master, the owner of the land, hugging the little slave boy and encouraging other birds, other black South Africans to hug the slave because the slave has touched the white angel and luck shall be upon you. So rub yourself against the slave boy. Just rub yourselves. Just rub yourselves against the slave boy and all your luck will change and the economy will change for the greater good of the black people. Rub yourselves. I have touched the slaves. And if you touch the slave as I have, your luck will change and you will no longer live in poverty and the economy will work in your favor and all the jobs in the world will be open for you. Even if you're uneducated, unqualified, you'll still become a CEO of a big company. You'll be a billionaire because I've hugged I've hugged the slave boy. Come on, Zulus, do that. Disgusting. Disgusting. And by the way, that white lady, she's the bottom of the barrel white because the real whites that actually control this country are nowhere to be seen. They don't even speak about this matter. They're just looking in the jungle. They're just looking at the safari with all the animals acting like a fool. They're just watching in the little tractors with their binoculars in the safari, just watching the buffoonery. The real billionaires that control your lives are watching you do the dirty work for them. You are happy that your white people have joined. Your white people have joined in the fight against immigration. Your white people, the nerve to say our white people. Don't count, Zulus, please don't count the rest of the country with you in this buffoonery. Don't count us in that. That's your white person. And that white person is the bottom of the barrel. She has nothing to live for. She's poor. She's one of those poor. Remember I told you that there's poor boers from Brakpan and Bronkhortspruit. She's one of those. So there's nothing good that will come out of her, but instead you're giving her the platform to become racist. You're giving her the platform to degrade our fellow African brothers and sisters. I don't care if they're legal or illegal. People that look like you're allowing them to degrade them in that manner because you think you are the superior blacks in Africa because of your proximity to whiteness. No, my darlings, let me tell you, you are participants. You are extras in the economy of South Africa. This is the white man's country. This is the white man's economy. You are extras. You are strategically placed like chess pieces and they're playing you. And by the time they say checkmate, you will be screwed. You'll be screwed. You'll be screwed. You'll be screwed. Don't let white people that kiki haha show you their teeth think that you're like in the same level. You're not in their league. You're not in their league. Whether it's a poor person or you are not in their league. You'll never be in their league. You are still and will always be inferior. You'll always be a subject. You'll always be beneath them. You'll never be equal to a white person, no matter how much they love you. Even if they married you today, you'll still be a charity case. So don't let that nonsense gas you up into thinking you are part of something great. You're not. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel.
All right, that was one of the videos that I wanted to share. Let's see.
While the country is consumed by debates around immigration, border control, and the treatment of African migrants, another political development is quietly unfolding in the background. The Cape Independence Movement, which advocates for the Western Cape to secede from South Africa, has sought international support for its cause, including appeals directed towards political figures in the United States. Phil Craig, an illegal UK citizen with no permanent residency status in South Africa, has written a letter to Donald Trump personally to help them in their quest to separate Western Cape from the rest of South Africa. This letter comes amid the xenophobic crisis in the country. While Black South Africans are in the jungle waging war against their brothers and sisters, their arch enemy, the Boers, the ones they can't defeat nor get rid of, yet they play happy family with, is hitting them where it hurts. In their letter, they applaud Donald Trump for always standing up for them, especially during the false white genocide narrative. But they feel like the solution is not to give them refugee status in the United States, but to break South Africa apart so they can have their white-only land. They also mentioned that the Black government supports China and Russia while they support the United States and Europe, and hence it's their right to have their own state that have the same political goal and mindset. The letter also insinuates that the white people fear for their lives amid these xenophobic attacks happening throughout the country. This letter is ridiculous. The whites have managed to use this jungle fight to their advantage.
The Cape Independence Advocacy Group, led by Phil Craig, a gentleman from the United Kingdom, Great Britain, has sent a letter to the US for the future of South Africa, saying many South Africans share a Western outlook and heritage, where our government has allied itself with China, Russia, and Iran. We are more ideologically aligned with the US and Europe. Man's permanent residency was acquired in 2004. He's not a South African citizen fully, but he is the referendum party advocating for taking the Western Cape to be an independent state. How is this not treason? What kind of foreigners are we getting? Like, how would it look that I live in Korea and now I tell people that I want an independent state and I have a political party and I know what is best for South Africa is to, he says, marginalized people. What does he know if he got to South Africa in 2004?
They're asking the United States to help them recolonize South Africa, just as Marco Rubio promised to do so at the Munich Security Conference earlier this year. They are taking his word for it, literally. This letter to Donald Trump sanitizes the violent histories, and it does so very explicitly and without shame. It describes the United States as coming to an untamed frontier and developing it into the most advanced and powerful nation in the world. And it describes Afrikaners, the Boers, as doing the same at the southern tip of Africa, coming to an untamed space and bringing advancement and civilization, technology, and literature in the arts. It's all these descriptions that are deeply romantic and very rosy colored, yet their execution is violent. In reality, it completely disentangles itself from the violences of the histories that made those civilizations possible, that has made the South African country nation for what it is today. Why should we, as young Black South Africans, care when such letters make the rounds on social media spaces? No matter how small the PR is, why should we care when former colonizers use the same language they used to use when they talk about the barbaric state that places were in before they colonized them and developed them into civilization? Why should we care? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why we should care. Because the chances of them using that same method they used when they colonized nations, the violence, the chaos, the oppression, the ethnic cleansing, those same tactics will definitely be repeated with impunity without them even caring about the fact that there's violence involved. We already see how the United States acts. When they see a place that is predominantly Black and brown people in it and has resources they want, they will use whatever logic of imperialism they can find to justify the violence they do to those areas. We've seen it with Venezuela, Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, Vietnam, and thank God Iran is giving them a run for their money, but we see how they operate. The Cape Independence referendum wants the United States violence against South Africa. They want that violence. Why are we spending so much time fighting one another while groups with entirely different political objectives are actively organizing, lobbying, and pursuing their own long-term goals? At a time when tensions surrounding African migration have reached a boiling point, with incidents of violence and hostility making headlines across the country, South Africans are losing sight of a larger political and economic questions. As South Africans continue to battle over immigration, unemployment, and identity, who is shaping the future of the country behind the scenes? Who is organizing? Who is building political influence on the global stage? And who is positioning themselves for the South Africa of tomorrow? Ask yourself these questions. What the Zulus are doing, and you can see that I say Zulus, keyword Zulus, image 2. Because they run around in their Zulu attires and spears, hunting down our African brothers and sisters, just like how the Boers used to do it back in apartheid with their guns. The Zulus are deliberately helping the Cape Independence Group to strategically disaffiliate from the violences of the Afrikaner history by making enough noise to distract the country while the Boers write a romantic letter to Donald Trump behind our backs. By the time we wake up, it'll all be said and done. It'll all be said and done. Western Cape would have seceded.
If it is invalid, we promise a tenfold refund. This denture can be successfully worn in just 1 second and is suitable for everyone, whether you have complete teeth, partial missing teeth.
The Zulus might not have, they might not realize it or doing it intentionally or whatever, but they're strategically helping the Boers absolve themselves from their violent histories and to give them exactly what they want by distracting the rest of us. No one has seen this letter. Not a lot of people have spoken about this letter. Why? Because we're busy speaking about grown men with no jobs, wearing traditional attire, barefoot, holding their spears, chasing down, hunting down our fellow African brothers and sisters, just like they did them back in apartheid with their guns. A joke, my darling. A joke. South Africa is a movie. It's a drama. It's a series. Every day it's a new thing. But one thing we are not seeing, we are losing sight of, is that how the Boers are organizing themselves for a better South Africa. Not a better South Africa, for a new South Africa, a new dawn of democracy. They are putting their ducks in a row. And if anything, white people, it doesn't matter whether they are from Serbia, Russia, Australia, United States, I don't know, South Africa, Namibia, it doesn't matter. White people look out for each other. And this referendum, we might ignore it. We might not give it enough attention because this is what they want. It will be a success. Donald Trump's boots will land in Western Cape and they will secede. They will secede. Thank God for Iran. If it went for Iran, we would be screwed. I nearly lost my cool there. We would be screwed. The United States has their hand tied in the Middle East. Iran is giving them a run for their money. But if it wasn't like this, if the circumstances weren't like that, you would have seen flames. You have a bad reputation already on these international platforms, South Africa, thanks to the Zulus. And I know I keep saying Zulus, because it's them. I'm yet to see a vendor or a pedi or a Shitsonga person running around in their traditional attire, holding their spears and acting like God knows what in the jungle. I'm yet to see them. The other time, Jacinta Ngobese Zuma, the leader of this March and March group that is busy chasing out illegal foreigners, but we know that they are targeting all African migrants and even Black South Africans that are not light-skinned. I said it. She posted a picture and saying that the Zulu monarchy, I didn't read too much into it, but there was just a lot of Zulu organizations in a boardroom, large tables, chairs filled with Zulu people. And someone asked, is this illegal immigration crisis just Zulu-centered? Is it Zulu supremacy? Is it Zulufied? Is it about Zulus or what? And Jacinta was like, no, we also wrote to the other monarchies throughout South Africa, but only the Zulu monarchies are the ones that are answering us. So we will work with people that answer bullshit. Bullshit. She's lying. She didn't write to no other monarchy outside the Zulu nation. She didn't. This is a Zulu thing. It's a Zulu supremacy agenda. And once they are done with this agenda of chasing out African migrants, they are going to claim that they are the ones that built South Africa, and hence South Africa should belong to the Zulus. I'm busy kissing my mic because I'm mad. It's a Zulu agenda. It's a Zulu supremacy agenda, just like how they tried to make the new democracy of South Africa a Zulu national interest. When IFP was murdering any black person that voted for the ANC back in the 90s. They're doing it again. The IFP is doing it again. The IFP, supported by March and March and former head of state Jacob Zuma, they're doing it again. They're inciting violence. They're endorsing violence to destabilize the country so that they can claim that the Zulus built it. Don't believe me? Just watch. What do you think about the segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm almost done. I want to encourage all of my listeners, if you're listening to this so far, please just go to Google and type in Manuel Online, all one word. Manuel, MANWELL online dot medium, MEDIUM.com. And so this is my Medium page. I also refer to it as my Medium transcript. Okay, so go there. all of my presentations and speeches I post up here. That's why it has pin. So you would click right here where it says transcript, right? Okay, and so you just hit scroll down, or the down key, go all the way to the bottom. I'm just trying to show you how to navigate. That's all. So again, if you want to later on today, if you want to participate on our panel, you got to know how to use StreamYard. So if you don't know how to use StreamYard, then I would say in July, I'm willing to teach you July up until, I would say November. But anyway, this is the documentary that you will have to watch. How South Africa became third world. Okay. This is the, again, these are my receipts. But again, I call it show and prove. But these are my sources. So this is, if you want to learn more about the gentleman that was murdered, click on there. And this is where his funeral and stuff is going to be later today. Click on that and it tells you more. They're still talking about the Asian business boycott and stuff. So check that out. I like that this one about, a lady they call her a racist Karen, she's acting a fool in Jamaica. Just horrible, I'm just saying those racist people, those are the ones that, be bugging all the time. Yes, unfortunately, 40 people were shot here in Chicago. 8 of them was unalive, and that was on Juneteenth weekend. It's horrible. Just saying, just letting y'all know. These urban terrorists is always bugging, and it's not just in Chicago. It's all over in all the inner cities. This happens every week. It's just horrible. Anyway, these are I recommend if you want to just look at all of them, if you can. But if you a native African and you're living on the continent, then just connect with my pod chaser, because that won't eat up your bundles, and you can listen to the podcast. Okay, right here, this lady, Representative Pamela J.L. Paul, she's from India. She wants reparations for illegal immigrants. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So any black person that's voting for Democrats at this point in the game, you're a straight up race traitor. That's how I feel. Check this one out. This is, about countries that owes Africa trillions of dollars, and they provide the receipts. Black wars, white supremacist financial elites just was always coming to other people's land, and trying to take it. Well, they did take it over basically because they had superior weapons. Those indigenous people, they only had spears and spears and like bow and arrows. So it wasn't no match with a gun. So that's how they were able to conquer everything. The scramble for Africa. So you need to look at that, Africans. Look at the people who colonize you and stay on their bumper about giving you reparations because they're the ones that keep on bugging. And like I say, the whole EU, European Union, all of those European nations, they need Africa's resources. Racist as hell, though. Act really silly with us. So, like I say, if they don't want to give us reparations, don't do business with them and say, no, we won't allow, you're not welcome in our land, point blank. And y'all have to stand on that. Doing the best I can to get this business popping here in America first so I can bring that type of knowledge to the African continent. And again, a lot of Africans, we want to make sure that we won't have no corruption up in GRCAM, Chicago at all. And make sure that we stand on business and just work with other like-minded people that want more out of life, doggone it. So over here, this is telling us about all the presidents of the United States, the so-called founding fathers. All of them had slaves. So this would put the American government on the hook for reparations for descendants of American slaves. You know what I'm saying? This right here. This is a horrible massacre. Check it out. Read about it. This is about slave owners that got reparations in America, but they didn't give, the slaves themselves reparations. I'm talking about that happened long ago, But, when it come down to all that slaughter, killed a lot of people, these white supremacist financial elites. Murder doesn't have a statute of limitation. Know what I'm saying? So that's the blood that needs to be paid to us, descendants of American slaves / freedmen. Over here, Slave Compensation Act of 1837. They finally paid off. That's in the UK. I'm going to say back in 2014 or 2015. So if it happened so long ago, why the UK had to still reimburse former slave owners? That's all I'm saying. So stay on their bumper, y'all. You have to. Yeah, if I can just get black women that's on my friends, that's listening to this program, y'all raise 1.5 billion for Kamala Harris. 1.5 million. I'm just trying to raise $250,000. Work with me. So that way that could help improve the black community, and hopefully it can expand to other cities. Because once I leave America and bring myself over to the African continent, I want to just focus on Africa. That's it. I'd rather spend the rest of my life working with Africans. Because I gave Black America 32 years of my life. My bad. I mean 34. 34 years. So, yes, I'm like, ain't nothing more I can do. But like I say, my film project is my last attempt trying to build something productive. And it's just ridiculous being on first base, But I'm doing this because I love my racial group. But I'm putting up with no foolishness at all. And that's real. Over here, this is letting you know that Black Americans as a collective, we have 2 trillion. Some say 1 trillion. So I'm just going by what they say on this thing right here. Right here, this is the median wealth for Black Americans. They say it's going to fall to net it's going to fall to zero by 2053. I say by 2040. I'm just, that's just my theory. Black women, they voted in the election of 2024, voted 92% for the Democrats. Black men voted 77%. So that's still high. And this is why we don't get anywhere as a racial group, because you keep putting the same people in power. That's helping all our vote is helping helping illegal immigrants that don't even belong on the soil. So I'm glad that Black Americans are starting to wake up, because I've been pushing this thing for the past, like I say, 34 years. Trying to wake my people up. Wrote about it. They don't want to read the book. Don't want to buy items from my virtual store. I'm like, well, my goodness, this is why I can't do my job. That's all right. It is what it is. So I hope, like I said, I got African immigrants I'm reaching out to, as well as the global African family. That's it. And like I say, my film project is my last attempt. If that's doesn't work out, then hey, God is my witness. I tried. Doggone it. Unfortunately, our children are going to suffer because of this foolishness. But this is what we're going to heal from, Black Americans. That Willie Lynch letter. This is what I want people to look at, especially if you're going to be a GRCAM member, because we got to come against that. That's called the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. That's very important. This is about Dr. King talking, he didn't use the word reparations, but he said, we're coming to Washington to get our check. That means reparations. Check this out about benign neglect. That stuff was going on back in the 70s, with Monahan. Or President Nixon, that was in the 60s. So, but anyway, I'm just going to say, well, yeah, around the 60s then, when civil rights was really getting strong, and, it was a big win for Black Americans. But look at that now. Our voting rights has went back. There's a lot of gerrymandering, and, it's just horrible, because a lot of our Black leaders are in the pockets of a lot of our Black politicians are in the pockets of the white supremacist financial elites. It's just how it is. Check this out about Memorandum 46. That's trying to that was during the Carter administration. They was trying to get Black Americans and Africans not to work together. Anyway, this is my book under my credibility. Click on that link and you can see my ebook as well as my soft cover book. This is our GoFundMe page. And you click on that, it's still going to have zero. No donations at all. And here it is, the 6th month. And I've been pushing it, since January of this year. Nobody can say I ain't tried. Every week, I keep trying to get Black Americans on board. Say, purchase the ebook. But hey, it is what it is. Our PayPal Giving Fund page is there. This is, if you're an American citizen, I recommend you use this one, because you can use this site as a tax write-off, because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit, faith-based, and community advocacy organization. My stuff is legal. Ain't nothing over here, no scams at all. Selling the book is not a scam. That's uneducated people talking that smack. And so, and if people feel like it's a scam, my advice is delete me off your friends list. Go on about your business. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, just keep it moving. I want to hear that mess. So this is buy me a coffee. This is our virtual store right here under Teespring. This is the podcast I was telling you all that's Native Africans. Use that one. Oh, sorry, not Spotify. This one I mean right here under Spotify. Pod Chaser, okay? Because that won't eat up your bundles as much because it's audio. All right, and that's where you can find more of my links and things like that under my revised link tree page. Okay, thank you all for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you all later today, so that way we could do side B. This was side A, and that's going to conclude side A, and now we're going to do side B in a little while from now. So stay tuned. Peace and blessings.